One thing we can always count on is that regardless of what success we've had in the past, we can always anticipate that tough days are ahead. And we need tools, we need resources that will help us get through those tough days, especially if we're a justice impacted person. And it doesn't matter really what stage of the journey you're in. You may be just learning that a government investigation has begun. You may be preparing for sentencing or contemplating whether to plead guilty or not guilty or getting ready to surrender to prison. And of course, if you are in prison, you become intimately familiar with tough days because you miss your family, because your family misses you, because you feel as if things are getting away from you. Life is moving on. I remember when I was incarcerated in the very beginning stages of my journey, before I really understood how to get ready, how to live a life of meaning and relevance and dignity, even in the face of challenge. And I remember being locked inside of these rooms when tours would come through. And I wrote about this, of course, in Earning Freedom. But I remember sitting in those rooms and watching the people walk by, and I felt as if like I was on the moon, seeing the planet Earth, and I could see it turning, but I couldn't be a part of it. Or I felt maybe like I was an animal in a cage and people were walking through and I just wanted to have a human connection with them. But I couldn't reach out because anytime they brought tour groups in, the administrators would separate the people in prison and put us in a room while the citizens or civilians would walk through and learn about the prison system. Well, we're in a very different time today when opportunities exist that allow people to work to earn freedom in a way that didn't exist when I was incarcerated. Even so, there will be tough days, and we need tools to help us get through those tough days. That's what today's journal entry is about. So let me read it for those people who are consuming our content in jails and prisons on one of those iPad-like devices or MP3s where they're walking around the track and listening and learning. It's super important for people to begin thinking today about how they are going to overcome the challenges in the future. And that's something that I had to do while going through 26 years in prison and something that I still do every day today. So here's today's journal. And this is a journal from July 22nd, 2023 about tough days. Sometimes we have tough days. We need a tool to help us get through. My journals helped me through those tough days while I served my sentence. Since I invited others to hold me accountable, I felt a sense of duty and responsibility to live up to their expectations. Overcoming expectations helps us to build a coalition of advocates. When someone faces a sentencing hearing or climbs through a prison sentence, people sometimes get lost in the moment. Preparing for success after a crisis requires us to look ahead. We have got to think about building a coalition of people who will advocate on our behalf. Inspiring more influential people to join our advocacy team requires good planning. Converting our adversaries into advocates requires us to develop our tools, tactics, and resources. Although I developed many of these tools while I served my term, the daily journal proved invaluable. With the journal, I knew I had to keep moving toward the release plan that I pledged to build. I encourage others to use these tools in the same way. Journaling should become a task, like brushing our teeth or eating. If we make journaling a part of our daily routine, we develop a powerful resource. The journal becomes a permanent record that we can use to overcome the negative influences that others want to use against us. I still use this technique today. The daily journal helps me triumph over adversity I encounter while working to reform the criminal justice system. But there are always obstacles to success. As people in prison might imagine, I constantly face opposition. It doesn't surprise me that entities or individuals oppose the concept of incentives that would allow people to work toward earning freedom. Incentives that lead to liberty for people in prison can threaten livelihoods or profits for companies that benefit from mass incarceration. Daily journals show a commitment to transparency. If we make our journals public, we feel a sense of duty or obligation. People expect us to do what we say. The journal memorializes the record. It helps people see our authenticity. We must show that our success resulted from well-laid plans and that we can replicate that plan in other areas of our life. As human beings, we all face crisis or challenges. We muster the strength to rise above with our daily preparations. If confronted with a tough day, as I did yesterday, I get back on track by asking a series of questions. Who is my most influential adversary? What do I want my journal to reflect tomorrow? When will the next opportunity open for me to influence more people? Where can I develop more resources to advance advocacy efforts? Why are people opposing my efforts to introduce work release programs for people in federal prison? And how can I convert more adversaries into advocates? Those kinds of questions prompt me to become more productive. Instead of complaining, I find ways to act. For example, I wrote an article to describe the purpose of our new platform, Prison Professors Talent. And below, I offer the description. Notice that I will use those same prompts, those questions. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Use those as prompts to start building a pathway to success. So here's how I answered it about my platform, who we are. Well, I am Michael Santos, founder of Prison Professors. While serving 26 years in prisons of every security level, I spent every day preparing for a life of success. Since completing my term in August of 2013, I have built a career striving to show others how they can use time in prison effectively so they can emerge with their dignity intact and opportunities to live with meaning and relevance. What we're building with Prison Professors Talent. We're building a platform to profile thousands of people who use their time inside to prepare for success outside. Where we're making Prison Professors Talent available. We have opened relationships with every state prison in California and every federal prison in the North Central region. We have also opened relationships with the leading tablet providers. Together, we are collaborating to help more people understand how to use time in prison to prepare for the best possible outcome. When we are building Prison Professors Talent. Following a tour, we began building this website that exposed our work to more than 1,000 people in state and federal prisons across America. Those one-on-one interactions convinced us that people who lead extraordinary and compelling lives should memorialize their journey. The work they do inside will lead to more opportunities upon release. Why we're building with Prison Professors Talent. We incarcerate far too many people in America, and they serve sentences that are far too long. With Prison Professors Talent, we can bolster our advocacy to show why incentives such as work release programs, furloughs, and meaningful access to other incentives will improve the culture of confinement and the outcomes of our nation's criminal justice system. How we are building Prison Professors Talent. We never ask anyone to do anything that we are not doing. Our for-profit companies donate at least 10% of all revenues to fund our nonprofit, the Prison Professors Charitable Corporation, and we're building collaborations with businesses and individuals to join our efforts to impact the lives of more than 1 million justice-impacted people. Resources allow us to provide income opportunities for formerly incarcerated people and match resources that prison systems purchase to improve our culture of confinement. Our community at prisonprofessorstalent.com opens opportunities to memorialize your preparations. If you'd like to publish your profile, email our team, interns at prisonprofessorstalent.com. Prison Professors Charitable Corporation, 32565 Golden Lantern Street, Box B-1019 in sunny Dana Point, California, 92629. The phone number is 818-237-3460. Now let me start from the beginning and say the address and the phone number we provide to help people in prison who want to communicate with us. Sometimes those institutions require people to list an address and a phone number. They could always use my name. It's Michael Santos if they need to. But what we're doing is building these coalitions with university interns and justice-impacted people and striving to help society understand why it makes really good sense to invest in this concept of incentivizing excellence. We want people to earn freedom and displace the tired and worn concept of measuring justice by the turning of calendar pages. We believe it would be far more impactful on society if people worked to earn freedom. And that's the reason we base all of our courses on this book, Earning Freedom. And I hope that you have a copy of this in your library. If not, our nonprofit will happily send a donation to you. That's one of the reasons that we exist. In fact, I can show you that. If anybody has a family member that is outside and has access to the internet, they can visit our website, which I'll show you right here. I'll probably have to adjust the window a little bit, but by looking at our, let me make that a little smaller just so I could give you a tour of it. This is the website right here. Okay, this is an example that you could see that there is a profile, there's an original lesson, because we're striving to teach people how to emerge successfully. This is all part of our strategy to improve outcomes of America's criminal justice system. So this website right here profiles people who were once really people that have an interest in improving outcomes of the system, whether it's people like the director of the Bureau of Prisons who's speaking about a new mandate to try and improve policies that will help more people emerge as good neighbors, not good inmates. This is really a fundamental change, and it's one that we want to support at Prison Professors. This is a whole different type of leadership that we believe is going to lead to better outcomes. But just as anything else, change takes time, and all we can do is try and live as the change that we want to see in the world. But you can do that as well, which is why we have an emphasis on planning. And one thing I always say, I never ask anyone to do anything I didn't do. So I'd encourage you to click on the planning module, click on the employment module, and see the work that we are doing to open relationships with leading employers. If you don't have access to our books in the prison, see if you can have a family member send them to you or write to us, and we will do our best, provided that we have resources to provide those books. You can be a leader like Helene Flowers, like Adam Clausen, or Tommy Walker, people who were once serving lengthy sentences but are now free. And these are just some of the institutions with whom we are working right now. We want to help you, and that's why we've built this pathway to creating scholarships. It's totally transparent. Anybody can see the record of individual book donations that we have given to people since we're really been launching this initiative. We can show the institutional donations that we've donated to, and we can also show the roster of participant profiles, people that are building profiles. All of this is part of our initiative to bring more awareness about what does it mean to build an extraordinary and compelling adjustment strategy. We're building this new page here, and you'll be the first to see it, which is see how we're improving outcomes for justice-impacted people. And this is how we will show our impact. So we're trying to create a visual representation so that people can see, hey, how are we growing? How are we changing? And this is all a model that's in development, but we will be showing it with people so that they can see. We want to create it in kind of a visually compelling way that people will want to get behind. So I just really am enthusiastic about building this platform because it shows people that I'm never asking anybody to do anything I didn't do. You may have a tough day, but you've got to keep working. You've got to keep pushing. You've got to follow this pattern that we describe in all of our coursework and in all of the publications that I make, whether it's in text and video and audio. We encourage people, Define success as the best possible outcome. Create a plan that will help you get from where you are to where you want to go. Put priorities in place. Develop tools, tactics, and resources. Make sure that you modify your plan as adjustments are necessary, and build your own mechanism to hold yourself accountable and measure progress. And then most importantly, execute your plan every day. I am Michael Santos. I am the founder of Prison Professors, and I just want you to know we believe in you.